Salam Hamza-Gaith. She is the founder and president of A Small World, a foundation which is changing and has changed many people's lives. And I think she herself is a story. And she has inspired me, has inspired many, many people, and definitely she needs to inspire you. So it is a great honor and a privilege to introduce you, Salam, to the stage.
Hello, everyone. Professor Alessandra, thank you for this beautiful introduction. I'm very humbled by your kind words and warm welcome. Good afternoon to you all. It's a pleasure to be with you here today in stunning Sorrento. And I'm sure you agree with me. It's stunning. It's an honor to be invited by the UNWTO and to be part of the first Global Youth Tourism Summit. Seeing all your amazing faces from all around the world gives me the chills, seriously. This here, you're all global citizens, and this can show me what global peace could look like. It's amazing. My name is Salam. It's an Arabic name, and it means peace. I was born to loving parents, and I first opened my eyes around me in Lagos, Nigeria, which was my home away from home, and which also made me third culture child, I guess. I grew up with one sister, who I can easily refer to as my soul sister. We lived in a cherished and protected environment, learning about our valuable culture from our family, while having the privilege of being raised in a multicultural environment. A statement that highly resonated with me growing up is that of the Sudanese author Tayyip Saleh, who resembles himself to a palm tree, deep roots and wide leaves. While the deep roots are the principles and values that guide us, the wide exposed leaves allow us to be tolerant, understanding, accepting, and learn from others. It allows us to be open to our surrounding. I have to tell you, my school years were not really my proudest days. If you ever wanted to challenge any teacher at all you had to do is send them my way. It did seem that I would daydream every time the class started. And it was as if the teacher's voice was that magic wand that took me on a roller coaster of a journey. Mind you, everyone is still in class, but I was already far gone to another imaginary planet. At that time, my teachers and some of my mother's friends who would try to teach me didn't believe that I was able to grasp anything at all. But don't ever judge a book by its cover. Little did they know, I'm here today. Thank you. Okay. One day, unfortunately, I decided to cut on my daydreaming and get on with my life. And that was during my high school years, sitting with a group of friends, laughing and joking like we usually do. Most of them would go back to their studies, and few of them would sit back with me to continue on our joking spree. When everyone left, my friend who stays with me looked at me and said, "Do you see all those looking for an opportunity to hang out with us? And today, they are laughing with us. They will all move forward, and one day they will be laughing at us." Her words struck me like a lightning. I knew that I had to wake up. I had to stop daydreaming and start focusing on my life. I was adamant to put in the effort and hard work. She was most probably right, but I didn't want that prediction in my own future. So I had a choice to make and a decision to take. You see, you have to take power over your life. No matter your circumstances, how hard your life is or your background, you always will be faced with choices, and it is these choices that will shape your future. You have to take control over your life. As they say, don't live by default, live by your design. Take those tough decisions, make the changes needed, because only you can do that for yourself. After that incident, I did change. I became more focused and more serious. I even got to get on the Dean's Honor List at university, which made my family proud and some of my teachers. I'll take you back with me to Lagos, Nigeria, when I was 9 years old, where I was first exposed to poverty and extreme inequity. I'd always ask, why are children my age at the time left to wander alone without their parents? Why are they left hungry? When I would get screamed at if I didn't have my shoes on or I didn't eat my meal to the last bite. Why aren't we all the same? The only answer I'd always get is that poverty is a disaster and life can sometimes be unfair. You see, as a child, nothing really prepares you for this. I wanted to make a difference, but I wasn't mobile. I was still just a child. I made a promise to my 9-year-old self that when I grow up, I will help change the lives of those children. I studied my bachelor's and master's degree in the Lebanese American University in Lebanon. And I decided to deliver my promise to myself. So I looked for somewhere to volunteer. I found a center in Beirut. Beirut is the main city of Lebanon, where I was asked to write my religion in the application. I refused because I didn't understand what my religion had to do with my humanitarian work. What difference could it make to my capabilities? But then I learned something, that nothing is straightforward or simple in life, even when your intentions are purely humanitarian and all you want to do is help. And that was my first lesson on my path of persistence and overcoming obstacles. I didn't give up. I continued my search, and I found an orphanage that wanted someone to speak English and teach English. And that was where it all began. At the beginning, I thought it was so easy. They're kids after all. What could go wrong? I mean, it must be a piece of cake. And they were very happy to have me. Well, I can tell you that these kids didn't seize any chance to challenge me in every single way possible. They were the ones asking the questions that kept me wondering. And for the first time in my life, I actually felt sorry for my teachers back then. In time, I became close to them. I knew their stories up close and personal. Stories that an adult would find hard to live with and experience. But I guess children have a way of taking in hardship and still having that big hope of tomorrow, still enduring that smile. Children are resilient. They still went out to play, found pleasure in little things, fun talks, little games, just simplicity at its best. And I have to say that they taught me much more than I ever taught them. I learned lots of experiences and learnings from this experience, but I'd like to share one with you today because it stayed with me, kept me going, and never giving up. You can actually impact a child's life by just being there, by showing up, by showing them that you care and that their life has value and meaning. That little gesture can go a long, long way. It also reminds me of a story by Lauren Isley called The Starfish Thrower, and it goes like this. A man was walking along the beach when he spotted a boy picking up and gently throwing things back into the ocean. Approaching, he said, "Young man, what are you doing?" "Throwing starfish back into the ocean. The surf is high and the tide is going out," replied the boy. The man laughing to himself. "Do you realize that there are miles and miles of beach and hundreds of starfish? You can't make any difference." The boy listened gently, bent down again, picked another starfish, and threw it right into the surf. He looked at the man, smiled, and said, "I made a difference to that one." There's no contribution that you can ever make that can be too little. Going back to the orphanage, it was a very difficult time for me when I said goodbye, but I knew deep in my heart that that was not the end, and I'll continue on this path, for the rest of my life. I met my future husband in Lebanon, and I moved to Abu Dhabi to live with him in the United Arab Emirates. As a stranger, I arrived to a beautiful country, so modern in its buildings and high-rise, in its technology and the safety that it offers. And soon, I, the stranger, became a friend to this generous land, learning and appreciating the real richness of Abu Dhabi, which is the multicultural, the rich salad bar filled with colors and excitement. It's the place where you can meet and greet people from all around the world. So I thought, why don't we bring all those people together from all the communities around the world? Let them celebrate their identity, folklore, and culture. Raise funds to support children and raise awareness about their cause. And rather than us helping one charity, we can help many around the world. I met with His Excellency Sheikh Nahyan bin Barak Al Nahyan, my husband and I allowed myself to bring the presentation up front. He was impressed, and he said that I should implement it in just 3 months. When the project needed 1 full year for preparation at least. As you might already know, when you get good news coming your way, it's mostly accompanied tightly with few challenges. Well, in our case, it was the same. There were a few challenges. But the big one and the main one was that it needed to be done in an incredible short period of time. I don't think I had time to get excited. The feeling of being overwhelmed immediately showered over me. There was so much work, from setting out our mission, vision, objectives, forming a team, aligning ourselves with the necessary governmental body responsible for humanitarian work, and the integrity of such work. All not to mention the planning, logistics, and execution that were needed in setting up the event itself. There was so much work, even reaching out to the embassies, communities, organizations, NGOs, so much more. I called my sister again. She told me I had 2 options. Either I reschedule the date of the event and take the risk of losing my current support, or I move forward and have the peace of mind that at least I've tried and I know what it's like. What do you think I did after her call? Yes, I moved forward. After her call, I didn't think twice. I moved forward. Now that I decided to move forward, I needed to get on my feet straight away, start sprinting. There was no time for walking or jogging. I took on a big responsibility, and I had to deliver beautifully and on time. This was the most significant point in SMALLWORLD's history, and certainly in mine, because it would later on become a determining factor on our next step and move forward. Before I go on, let me tell you that the day we launched, for many was one day, but for us, it was 3 months of continuous worry, excitement, and sleepless nights. And that is how the story of SMALLWORLD begins. SMALLWORLD, in record time, we founded our organization. We set our team, formed our team, set our mission, and got the groundwork started. We called it SMALLWORLD because it really was. And we launched it at the day of the event. SMALLWORLD Foundation was launched over a decade ago, supporting underprivileged children while encouraging community collaboration and peacemaking by bringing people together from all around the world under the umbrella of philanthropy, arts, and culture. If you were part of the audience on that day, you would see commitment. You would get to walk through the booths. You would get to see their decorations, arts and culture in just that little space. You'd get to taste and sample their most delicious traditional food, all homemade by the participants themselves. You later on get to watch the performances on stage. Each of the volunteers, community volunteers, were given few moments to showcase the best that their country has to offer. It was an enriching experience that fills one's heart with love and joy. I'm going to share with you the video.
Let me take a moment to honor Mrs. Salam Hamza Ghaid, whose vision animates this event.
Listen.
It's a small world.
Let's make it big.
يا بابا واسلم عليك يا سوريا اسمع علي بعشق Nigeria is my country.
Did any of you find your country there? Who again? You? Uh-huh. Oh my God, yes. You, please. Ukraine. Let's have a big round of applause for Ukraine. However, if you were not just an attendee and you had the chance to live the behind-the-scenes experience, you will see the unmatched love, the commitment, the energy, the love, the excitement, and the creativity of every participating nation, giving in their all to show the best they have. My favorite part actually were the rehearsals leading up to the event. It's important to note that the people decorating, preparing the food and performances are not experts in that field in any way. They were just regular citizens whose love for their country is immense and who just wanted to make their countries proud. Keep in mind that we're not talking about Hollywood here. That's not Broadway. It's in that part of the world, it's really not common to ask normal citizens to volunteer their stage presence. That's a sacrifice by itself among their peers in a somewhat conservative environment in these social norms. So that by itself was an inspiration to all of us. We witnessed them, braving out their insecurities and stage fright, all in the mission to support their countries and to help children in their countries and countries around the world. So it was really amazing. During that period, there was concern to get people to commit to the rehearsals. To our surprise, they didn't only commit. They were relentless, not allowing us time to rest. They would send us questionnaires at 3 a.m. Our phones would begin to ring even before we arrived to the office. They were on fire. The friendships that blossomed, the connections that were formed were really incredible to witness. At that time, I asked myself, why are those people taking that much time from their family, from their personal life, from their work, to plan and prepare months and days ahead of the event, and obviously without any remuneration, without any financial benefit in return? The answer was always in front of us. It was obvious. It was because of their sense of belonging, their love for their own countries and communities. It was because they wanted to help underprivileged children in need. But mostly, it was because they were competing with each other. They wanted to stand out, be seen and heard. And that's what happens when we have healthy competitiveness. It brings the best out of us and pushes us out of our comfort zone where all the magic really happens. That is why we can use our differences and our diversity as ammunition to bring the best out of us and to push us out of our comfort zone, where all the magic really happens. How about if we use our differences to empower ourselves, to act more passionately, rather than as misery, to think of misery, destruction, and other things. That period there was peace for me. That showed me what global peace could look like. The event was a success. The first year we supported children in 28 countries. Until now we have made more than 15 events, supported and helped change the lives of more than 10,000 children in more than 35 countries, 55 charities around the world. And I'm going to show you a video to summarize everything we've done.
Every child deserves a chance to live a normal life, to grow in a good environment and to thrive. Since the launch of Small World in 2011, we've been supporting underprivileged children worldwide. And starting in 2012, our primary focus has been providing education and skill acquisition to liberate and educate.
Education is the most powerful weapon we can use to change the world. Giving an education to a child is like providing them with a passport to a richer and healthier future. It has been said, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime.
Over the years, Small World has supported more than 50 charities, and we have reached out to more than 10,000 children in 38 countries across the globe. We place great emphasis on communities, arts, and culture in everything that we do. At our intercultural events, communities from all walks of life come together to participate, displaying the best their country has to offer. We have organized walkathons, talent shows, silent auctions, art exhibitions, certificate ceremonies, grand events, and galas.
Do not focus on changing the planet. Focus on changing one child at a time.
Ambassadors of more than 38 countries, local and international media, royalties and celebrities have always supported our causes.
One less delinquent, ladies and gentlemen, is one more active citizen. So let's invest more in our new generation, our future leaders and stakeholders. They are our real treasure, which we need to focus on and empower. Thank you. Peace is the most important factor that contributes to healthy living. It's the stable base on which all our building blocks are constructed to create anything meaningful and sustainable. Because without peace, all our structures and creations are fragile and in danger. World peace is same as community peace. It requires that we live together in mutual tolerance and understanding. It's a commitment that has to be done by nations. It's a compromise. It's sacrificing today's little victories for a better future. It's compromising to get to a mutually beneficial solution for all. Peace work and peace building does not need to be another hashtag, another fashionable statement that we all preach just to show that we follow, but it can actually be implemented by each one of us, because each positive action by each individual or a group, regardless of the scale or impact, can help in promoting peace and civility. We are told that we are ripped by forces that we cannot control. We hear that in our uncensored social gatherings. But we should never surrender to this view, simply because it's not true. We as individuals have the power to decide how we act and decide what we propagate. We ask of nations, governments, and huge corporations to practice peace. And mind you, I'm not saying anyone is wrong in this request. We should. But what about us? What about each one of us? Are we acting in a way that promotes peace and civility? Because you see, peace starts with the individual and then goes to higher levels. We have to be aware and conscious of our own decisions and actions. We can decide to propagate and promote negativity, or propagate and promote peace and positivity. No matter what, you always have that choice. And know that you have that power every single day, every time you act, every time you talk. So choose consciously. Talking about peace, can tourism potentially lead to peace? People come back from their trips learning something new, appreciating local cultures, gaining knowledge and experience, putting forward their best, the best of their own countries. At the Small World events that were a form of tourism, people brought back stories of pride, peace, and love to their communities at home. Peace is a form of education in its own right. It brings us closer together, broadens our horizons, expands our vision. Unfortunately, the sector was hit hard by COVID, as we all know. It was brought to a complete halt in many places in the world. But we all see how it's returning and how it's coming back, and fortunately, quickly. We must rebuild tourism sustainably. It's more important than ever to bring people from all walks of life to appreciate our cultural diversity, break the barriers, and build stronger and more resilient bridges amongst ourselves. Peace can lead to intercultural understanding between cultures and people from all around the world. It can also eliminate alienation of others, which is the basis to build a peaceful world. As I wrap up, I want to leave you with the following takeaways. Take power over your life. There will always be obstacles. Do not allow them to stop you. The real magic usually happens outside your comfort zone. Practice and promote peace. Promote tourism. It's only in exposure that you grow and learn. It's only in exposure that you can demystify your preconceptions and have a better understanding. Finally, find your starfish. Find your starfish. All of you can do that. Thank you so much.